Hi, my name is Christina. I work with single mothers that are looking to have meaningful relationships, but they don't want to go through the heartache of ending up with Mr. Wrong again. I help these women to avoid the habits that attract the wrong men for them, and I show them how to obtain the mindset necessary to attract and obtain their Mr. Right. Okay, you guys, I said I was coming back tonight. I am back. Hey, Stuart, thank you for coming in and thank you for the hearts. I appreciate you. Hi, Chandra, how are you? Thank you for coming in. Earlier today, I was speaking on things that just essentially come with being an adult. Thank you for inviting followers, such as, the whole routine of cooking and cleaning and tending to your children. As I stated earlier, that is something that we do anyway. So we need to stop holding it over people's heads like it's something that you're really doing for them. Hey, how are you guys? I want you guys to take yourselves out of the mindset like just because you're doing something that you ordinarily do, that you should get some extra props or kudos for it. I want you to actually do something that is truly doing something for the other person. Step outside of your norm and go out of your way to do something that you know would make them happy. If you know they are the type that collects baseball cards or something, maybe one day show up with something. Pay attention to the other person's hobbies and things that they love and cater to that. And then you can get your kudos and props on things that you do for that person instead of considering things that you would ordinarily do on any given day like it's something you're doing that's spectacular. You know, Same thing with like having a car, job, and a place to stay and stuff like that. That is stuff we're doing anyway, or we should be doing. So we can't be like, well, they shouldn't have treated me like that because I had my stuff together, blah, 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 blah. You should have had your stuff together. You should be cooking and cleaning and tending to the children. That's adulting. That's not something that you're doing for your significant other. It's something that you were going to do anyway. And you don't deserve any extra kudos or props for it. If you want some extra kudos or props, do something for the person for real. And then if they do something for you, be sure to be grateful for it. Hey, thank you for coming in. I appreciate you. Make sure you're grateful for the little things that people do, because when someone goes out of their way to do something that's specifically for you, good evening, that means they were truly thinking about you and they were truly considering you during the day. Like, for instance, I happen to like scarves, those silk scarves and things. I love them. And, I have lots of them because I like them. You know, Whenever my soldier finds them, I get them because I like them and I appreciate that so much. Because it doesn't have to happen, but it's just one of those little things that I saw it, I know you like it, and I got it for you. I appreciate that. The same thing, I see different little things for the PlayStation 4 or something. Go get it because they like it. You're doing something extra for them. Something you actually appreciate them, and you're actually going the extra mile to cater to some of their hobbies. Like, for instance, they're way into electronics and things, and yeah, it is. And people overlook the little things way too often, and they are like, well, I have a job and I do. You really should. That's not special. That's something you should be doing anyway. But when it comes to the little details that you pay attention to about a person and you do that for them, that makes it that much more special. That makes that person appreciate you that much more, and it makes them want to come home to you that much more because they know that you care. They know that when they talk to you about things, you're actually listening, paying attention, and you're doing something that is outside of yourself. But hey, thank you for coming in, Cherry. You're doing something outside of yourself, but it's for them. And it's a beautiful thing, and they start to reciprocate that. They do things for you because they start listening to you because they want to return the favor. And it just kind of bounces back and forth off of each other. You're doing stuff for him, he's doing stuff for you, and you guys are remaining in this happy place because you actually care about how each other feels about things, and you're not forcing regular stuff down someone's throat like it's a prize. You know, like I said, I had that conversation with that lady earlier. Yes, we do. It's so true. I was speaking with a lady earlier, and she was like, I don't understand why my man didn't want to stick around me. I cook, I clean, I tend to the kids, I do everything. And I challenged it. I said, I don't think you do everything. You would, even if you didn't have a man, you were going to cook, clean, and tend to the kids. You were going to do it anyway. Let's face facts. That was nothing out of your way and special for him. That was stuff you were going to do anyway, and you're holding it over his head like he's just supposed to just roll over on the floor in appreciation. Like, oh my gosh, it's true. It's really true, Cherry. It's like that was what you were going to do even if he wasn't there. Don't hold that over his head like he's just supposed to bow down and kiss your pinky toe because you cooked, cleaned, and tend to the children. It's just adulting. And same thing with him, you know, he's working and everything like that, but he's supposed to. You're supposed to. These are things that we just do anyway, so don't hold that over someone's head like that's special. Yes, yes, they do. And I'm like, you get over yourself. That was something you were already doing. When it comes to special things for people, you come in and there's rose petals leading up to the bedroom. That's something special. They didn't have to do that. You have the candles lit, you know, lotion and everything else. Beautiful setting. That's something special. That's something out of the way. That's something that you're not ordinarily going to do. Someone put some thought into that. Putting together like a picnic or something like that. That's something that you're not going to do on a regular occasion. And so it is special. When you start to talk about the things that you do for someone, make sure you're actually doing it for them and not just something you were doing anyway. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm trying to stress to people. I try to tell people this all the time. You have to pay attention to what it is that you're calling yourself trying to hold over someone's head like it's a prize, because it's not. You know, it's really not. It's things that you were supposed to be doing anyway. You know, if you're going to do something special, do something special. Yes, yes, exactly. You know, when it comes to things like that, you go the extra mile and think truly about the other person. You know, I don't understand how people limit their relationships like that and then don't understand why things aren't working out. And all I can say is you really weren't being considerate of the other person when they're telling you about their goals and dreams and aspirations. You're kind of like, yeah, whatever. And you're still trying to do you. And then you wonder why they're starting to become distant and they're drifting away from you. There's nothing in common. There's nothing for them to talk to you about. Why would they want to come home and run into the same brick wall over and over again? They can't talk to you about what's bothering them. They can't talk to you about their dreams or goals. They can't talk to you about things that they just like in general, because you're like, yeah, you take out the trash. You should appreciate the fact that I did blah, 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 blah. It's like, why? And seriously, AJ, seriously, it's like, why would someone want to continue to come home to that? You have to start thinking about somebody else and stop being so selfish. And people don't even realize that that's what they're doing. It's like, but you are. You're being selfish. You think you're on this pedestal because you're doing things that you're supposed to do. And then like, they're not appreciating me. What? You were going to do that anyway. You just were. It's facts. Get over yourself and actually consider the other person. And it goes both ways. He should be considerate of you too. If there's things that you like or are interested in, that needs to go both ways. I appreciate the hearts and all the love, you guys. I appreciate when you guys heart me up and share me out and everything like that. Showing the love is a beautiful thing. When I get things that are outside of the norm, I always make sure that I tell them how much I appreciate them and love them and everything like that, so that this can continue. Because the moment you stop being grateful is the moment you stop getting things. And that works both ways, men and women. If you stop appreciating these little things, guess what? The little things are going to stop. And when the little things stop, it eventually works its way up until the major things that are supposed to happen don't happen anymore. Yeah, like my uncle-in-law, he had a wonderful wife. I mean, this lady was amazing. But she started having, I want to say it's called alopecia, where, the hair loss. And she was going through and she was hurting. And instead of trying to comfort her, he's like, what about their food? What about this? And eventually she stopped doing things altogether. And he started saying that she was a sorry wife. It's like, but you pushed her into that realm because when she needed you, you weren't there. You weren't trying to be a part of what she needs you for at all. And then you wonder why she shut down. If you don't breathe life into a person, you don't tell them that it's okay. You're not there for them. Eventually, it's inevitable. They're going to start pulling away from you. And you're going to lose everything you built up. All because, yeah. But he wasn't studying about her hair. He was sitting there like, you need to get over it and do X, Y, and Z. It's like, you didn't just lose your hair and when it comes to women, the hair is a thing, right? If I all of a sudden mine was gone, I'd feel some type of way too. And he didn't care, not in the least bit. Wasn't trying to be supportive or comforting or anything like that. And then wondered why everything deteriorated. It's like, you have to pay attention to your partner. Make sure you're there for them when they need you. Make sure you're there for them even when they don't need you, just to show that you always have their back. You're supportive. You care. You want them to be happy. You do things to see them smile because that's just how it should be. Yes, Smiles. You should do things to keep yourself on this level of happiness. Why would you want to destroy that? Why would you want to be in a relationship with grief? Yes, exactly. Exactly. And that's insanity. It's terrible to mistreat someone and then still expect them to stay around. And then whenever it does end and you're sitting there blaming them instead of realizing your part in the problem so you can fix yourself so that when you do get someone else, you don't do the same thing. Oftentimes, people will just strictly blame the other person. They won't do anything about their part in the matter. And then all of a sudden, they get into another relationship and they do the same thing. Thank you, Cherry. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. You go through the same thing with the next person and then the person after that because you never fixed your problem in the first place. Instead of continuously blaming the other person, sometimes you have to stop and realize, what did you do? What are you doing that is causing a problem as well? We all have patterns that we fall into. And if you don't break these patterns, you're still going to have the same negative outcome because you're still doing the same thing. Definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. It's not going to work. You have to take a look at yourself and reflect on these things. Yeah, yes, yes. And that is something else that I was talking about earlier. It's like you cannot take the negative baggage to the next relationship and expect for it to be successful. It's not going to happen. You're going to have the same problem that you had before. And nothing's going to be resolved. And you have to do something different. And you have to make a conscientious effort to do something different with your life so that you can move forward. Especially, the older you get, the more likely you are to have kids. And if you have kids, you definitely need to be setting a better example for them. We are responsible for the next generations, and we have to give them good examples to go by. If we're mistreating the people we're with in front of them, what do you think they're going to grow up and do? They're going to mistreat people because they think it's normal. And it's not normal. Well, it may be normal, but it doesn't make it okay. We have to start doing better. Do better by the person you're with. Actually care about them. Why do you want them if you're going to mistreat them? Leave them out there. Let somebody that's going to take good care of them have them. Let somebody who actually cares be the one to get them, and not you if all you're going to do is drag them. Yes, yes. It is the problem. And I just really want for people to think about these things and fix it. Do something about it. Don't leave it out there to be problematic and then continuously blame other people. You have to take responsibility for yourself. 75% of everything that happens to you is your own fault. Yes, yes. And your relationship should be great. It shouldn't be every day you're at each other's throats and you're miserable talking about persevering and enduring. If that's all you're doing, then why are you together? That's not the purpose of being with someone. You're supposed to be able to be happy and enjoy each other, not stress each other out. And just, well, we said for better or worse. That is not what for better or worse means. I'm going to address that tomorrow. That's going to be tomorrow's scope. Going in depth about for better or worse, because for some reason people just don't understand that term at all. You guys, I just want you to think about the other person. Do something special. Even if it's just to be comforting. Think about what they love and things that they cherish and provide that, as well as them doing it for you. Even reciprocation is a beautiful thing. And when people do things for you that are special, appreciate it always. Be grateful. Be grateful, because there are plenty of people that don't care and they won't do right. So just be mindful of it and appreciate it always. Don't sweat the small things. Oh, I'm mad about this sock on the floor and now you've ruined the whole day. Don't let a sock ruin your whole day. Instead, put the sock away, make a playful joke about it, and move forward. What have I learned about myself over the last 3 years? Well, I've just learned to be more patient and open-minded, and to be considerate at all times, because just because you would respond to a certain situation in a certain way does not mean that's how the other person is going to respond to it. People are like, well, you shouldn't even have been mad about that, or because I wouldn't have thought about it that way. And it's like, well, that's you. You have to be considerate of the other person's feelings. It's like, hey, Tanya Mae, thank you for coming in. It's like when you take kids to go get a shot. There are some kids that don't mind getting the shot. There's some kids that are apprehensive about it, but it doesn't hurt. There are some kids that thought it was going to hurt, and it hurt just as bad as they thought it was going to hurt, and they're screaming in misery. Hey, how are you? They took the same shot, but it had different effects on each one. And so that's something that you have to pay attention to. Just because you will respond to a situation in a certain way doesn't mean the other person will. And so instead of putting your mindset on someone else, understand where they're coming from and think about things differently and approach the situation in a fashion that's going to be helpful to them. Talk them through it, walk them through it, be there instead of just forcing your thoughts on someone. It's not okay. You know, I've I've learned to just be more considerate. Period. And that's all I want to put out there to everyone else. Be more considerate. Think about more than what you have going on. Being consistent. Exactly. You just have to. There's things that you have to change in order to become better. And you should constantly strive to become better. And you should strive to make both of you better. Because if you're uplifting them, guess who's going up with them? You. It works for everybody. Everybody benefits. So don't be selfish. Think about the other person too. And again, don't take everyday adult things and try to make it seem like it's a prize, because it's not. It's things you should be doing anyway. It's things you would be doing anyway. Get over yourself. Do something different. And you guys, with that, I'm going to head out. I'm going to bed. I have an early morning. And I appreciate you guys as always. Thank you for the hearts. Replay viewers, thank you for coming in. Heart me up, share me out, show me love. Thank you guys. I appreciate you for spending time with me tonight. And have a good night. Bye guys.